Hello, I'm Donald Leggett. Welcome to the latest London Southeast CEO interview. I'm joined today by Henry Lees-Buckley, the CEO dual-listed CBD group Sativa Wellness. Sativa is listed on both the Aquis Stock Exchange and the Canadian Securities Exchange. Welcome, Henry, and thank you very much indeed for joining us today.
Thank you, Donald. Thank you for having me.
I'm absolutely fascinated to hear your story, Henry. To hear from a CBD company CEO is something I've been waiting for quite some time. Perhaps we could start by you giving me an overview of the CBD wellness market. Who's doing what where?
I mean, the CBD wellness market in the UK is still reasonably immature. So it's been going on for the last number of years, but it's really starting to gain traction. And if you think about where we are in the UK versus where other markets are, no surprise, but America, USA in particular, is well ahead of us. So it's a very well known, very well accepted product in the Americas. Here in the UK, over the last 3 or 4 years, it's been picking up traction. So it's becoming available more and more places. And quite frankly, I'm sure we'll talk about it, but the regulatory environment here in the UK is adapting to it as well. It's evolving.
Are you the only listed company in the UK?
I believe it's just us, maybe one other smaller one. We were certainly the first, but the majority of companies are definitely private, and they're going about it their own way.
Okay, you're a UK-based company focused on CBD wellness products, specifically sold in the UK and in Europe. So what's the difference between hemp-based wellness products that you sell and marijuana-based medicinal products?
Yeah, that's a question we get quite often. So, hemp is just part of the same cannabis family. So the cannabis family has a whole bunch of different strains, and there's different nomenclature for it. But in essence, when you think about hemp, you think that's something that is low in THC. And THC is a psychoactive component to marijuana. It's a psychoactive component to the plant. So anything that's grown in hemp, for example, has to be below 0.03% THC. So think of hemp as low THC and marijuana potentially as higher THC components. So really all of our CBD wellness products, THC is a controlled substance here in the UK for certain, and all of our products are THC-free. So it is a process to ensure that you have a compliant THC-free product based on the hemp plant here in the UK.
Okay, that's a very good answer, Henry, which takes us nicely to the UK Food Standards Authority's Novel Foods Accreditation. You tell us that process is critical, and where are you with that process? Where's Sativa in that process?
Yeah, so I'm going to use a term I use regularly, internally and externally, and they think I'm a broken record. But we've designed the company to take the high road, and what I mean by that, the high road is complying with all the regulatory requirements. So delivering a high quality product and being compliant. So we'll work with a home office from day one. So we have a growing license for some hemp, low THC. We actually have a high THC license to grow high THC products for medicinal marijuana for the research project we have with King's College in London. So we're doing working with King's College on the research. We work with the regulatory bodies to get licensing there. We have licensing, for our hemp. And what's coming in now, and we've been a big proponent of it, is the novel foods, the FSA, UK FSA, have said, look, we deem a CBD as a product to be novel foods required. So you have to pass a full process to get accredited to be novel foods approved. So that is something they're introducing as of March 2021. And quite frankly, we embrace that because that's going to require companies to have quality control of their product and be compliant for things such as THC, et cetera. You'd actually be surprised. I don't want to slag too much of, the industry, but there are products out there that today, quite frankly, have far too much THC in it, and other products that advertise to be CBD that have very little or no CBD in it. So it's a pretty interesting time. And what I call this is more of an evolution. So the industry is evolving and we're adapting to it, but we've always taken that high road. So we're embracing it. We're very, very happy to look at the novel foods process. We're already well down that road. we've got not just one or two products in the process, we have a host of products in the process.
So higher regulation is a very good thing for you.
Very good thing indeed.
Okay. Now, you've been busy vertically integrating over this past year. So, you've done a reverse takeover into another business, I understand. So why do you think it's an advantage to have control from seed to consumer, as you put it?
Yeah. Well, you think about this in the context of being compliant and producing CBD you can trust. If that's our goal, the best way to do that is to actually have control of the cannabinoid from the time it's in the ground. So from the time you cultivate it, extract it, through the processing and formulation of a product to make CBD that you're ultimately going to provide to consumers. So if that is the ultimate control of quality, then you need to be, in our view, a seed to a consumer company. So today we're in a position, we've already completed the merger. It was a reverse takeover of a Canadian business called Still Canna. Still Canna has no Canadian assets, by the way. It's a company that held cultivation and extraction facilities in Poland and Romania. So a European company, no Canadian assets, no affiliation with anything going on in the Canadian marketplace. So that for us was a really good target to be able to go out and acquire and then integrate back into the UK.
Yes, no, indeed, it's a very good fit.
Yeah.
And I think that answers the next question as it happens. So I'm going to ask you, where do you grow and process hemp? And I think the answer indeed is in Poland and Romania.
Well,
how does your supply chain from there to here work then?
Yeah, but it's an important question though. So we have our own growth. So we have fields we plant and we harvest ourselves. But what we're looking for in the product is to make sure we have two things. One is we need to have low THC biomass. So we call the process, the product we take from the fields is the biomass. And then we take that biomass and then we extract it to make the CBD products. So isolate, distillate type products. It's important that we have low THC product and high CBD. So every plant is not created equal. And this is where the quality comes into play. So we have our own, and we also source specific products in Italy as an example, where we get product that is to our standards for low THC or no THC. We have to extract it if there is, but it needs to be low. And then on the other side of it, we're looking for a robust cannabinoid profile. So we need it to be high CBD. So when we process it, we're getting a high output for the volume of biomass we put through. So it is something we spend a lot of time on, and we have our laboratory in our factories in Poland, really looking at all of those biomasses before we produce a single thing. Our quality control starts in the field.
What kind of quantities are we talking about? Say biomass. How much biomass?
I don't have the exact numbers of what biomass, but it is directly related to the volume or to the content of the CBD. So, our plant, we can produce 200 or 300 kilograms of quality isolate and distillate a month, and we take the biomass in to produce that. So at the current rate, that will go up or down depending on the percentage of the CBD profiles in it. But
would you have enough to sell on to somebody else in future times?
We have more than enough. So that brings us to what we do. So we have multiple streams of business. Today we have the plant, and that plant will cultivate the product. It'll extract the CBD. It'll produce isolate distillate product. So I've just given you a sort of magnitude of 200 or more kilograms a month is kind of what we're thinking through today on a single shift basis, by the way. We can ramp that up exponentially.
Which gives you different revenue streams.
Without a doubt. So we take that and we sell that. Part of our business is a wholesale supplier to the CBD industry. So we'll sell that raw ingredient to any of the other competitors, manufacturers, and we're doing some on the pharmaceutical side because our plants operate to GMP standards. So that's the kind of one component of our business. Then we have our own brands, our Good Body brands, which then we produce. We send it to our plant in the UK. We have our formulation, bottling, and we have our own commercial lab, PhytoVista, that does the testing, and then we sell it on to the retail markets and online. So we have wholesale. We can sell the raw ingredients. We then can sell it to our own companies for our own production. We can equally sell it to and do bottling and packaging for any other brand out there. So if there's brands out there that are currently struggling with the CBD market, they're not sure they can make novel foods, which is a very hard bar to achieve based on the testing requirements, then we can actually white label and package and test their products to make sure it's compliant as well. So we've got multiple revenue streams here.
Okay. You've just signed a UK distribution agreement recently with the health store, talking about your retail and online streams. How is that going? Have sales been encouraging?
Yeah, I mean, we've been working on the retail markets for quite some time. So we sell online, obviously. We have two primary brands that we sell. One is all under Good Body Botanicals, and we aim that product at the grocers and the pharmacies. So today we sell, and our product's available through WH Smith Travel. We've got it, available at pharmacies throughout the UK. We work with Alliance Healthcare, and we send our products to them for distribution across the UK. So that's the Botanicals brand. And then we've launched the Good Body Wellness brand, and that wellness brand is designed for health food stores, high-end retailers. And as an example, we've got the health food store, and they've picked up our products full range. But we have signature products like orange and lemon, Good Body Wellness products, orange and lemon with vitamin D. So we're not just sort of producing, run-of-the-mill products. We're looking to adapt to any of the consumer demands and consumer requirements. So you'll see those product lines expand to retail over time.
What's the consumer reaction been? How are these things selling?
Well, for us, they're selling very well. And it's all based on, our motto, which is simply CBD you can trust. So if you think about the brands that are out there today, they've got all different sorts of names and packages, and they can be cool or they can be, modest. Ours, we'd like to think they're cool, of course, but they're functional. And what I mean by that is that you have a product that is, saying straight up, it is THC-free. You can turn the package over and you have a QR code that will take you to the batch that it was produced on. So you can get a batch report for that particular product. So we work to make sure that our consumers, they don't listen to us and say it's CBD you can trust. You can actually get it proven to you. So the consumer reaction has been very strong to that. And I'll tell you, the feedback we're getting from all of the major retailers, because they are going through the same process as well. So if you think about, if you're a Boots, Tesco's, Sainsbury's, Morrison's, why would you want to put a product on your shelf that is A, not top quality, B, that's not compliant, or novel foods compliant? I mean, with this evolution, they're going to be, looking for products like ours that are compliant. And
so have you had positive feedback from the retailers? Absolutely.
We're talking to the majority of them today, and there's significant interest all across the board. And, very encouraging for us. We're still working hard to get it in more places. That's our ambition. We'll continue to sell it online at our goodbodystore.com. But, we've got a very good runway of the current set of products we have, plus all the additional products we're moving into. Now, you step back again, and the novel foods process is not simple. You have to do testing not on just the raw ingredients, you have to test the finished product. So all of our products is tested from end to end, and it goes back to making sure, you have control of that cannabinoid right from the time it's in the ground to the consumer.
The retail environment is a little bit challenging at the moment. Have you been affected by that by any chance?
I think we all have. I mean, you'd be lying if you said that, you can walk down the street and not be affected. We have a flagship store in Bath, and that store we've used to test products. We've had it out in the retail environment, and sure, it's seen some softness in the markets. In the retail high streets were closed for a very long time, and we're starting to bring it back to life. So I think there's going to be things where WH Smith, on the other hand, has seen a pickup since they've been able to open up, which is the challenge for all of us. But there's travelers that are looking for help as they travel, and our products could satisfy some of those needs. So they're seeing very strong interest and demand on our product lines in certain locations based on travel.
Okay, let me take you to funding. What's your funding position, and will you need more capital for the next steps, the further steps in your development?
Yeah, I mean, we're a young company. Right now, our funding, we're in a good position for funding. We've done the reverse takeover. We've put these two businesses together. We don't have any major capital requirements. We have a facility in Poland, as example. It's our primary production facility that is already capitalized. Equipment's in there running. We're in production today. I think every business, as we drive volume up, we'll be spending more and more money on things like marketing. So product develop and marketing. But in the short term, we're fine. Obviously, longer term, we're going to continue to look to build the business and grow it further. And quite frankly, we would look to acquire some businesses over time that would fit into this portfolio. So, that's something we would be very interested in doing. And to do so, we'd obviously look to sort of extend our funding or move on.
Sure, capital markets or debt, the usual thing. Okay, and finally, why should people hold your stock, and what kind of news flow can we expect in the next 12 months? If we could truncate those two thoughts together for the audience, please.
Yeah, I think right now our stock is in a fairly soft position, quite frankly. So we put the two companies together, and when we bought Still Canna they were strictly an isolate distillate producer. Their stock was part of that cannabis bubble. So they were funding during that bubble, and we bought a very solid company, but the stock price was far too high for a period of time relative to today's market. So when we came back on the CSE, we're seeing good volumes. So our liquidity is very strong. We're seeing a number of folks, sort of what we call right now, cleaning up the market. So for the last 3 weeks or so, we're seeing our stock, hopefully getting cleaned up. Some of the sellers coming in that have been holding Still Canna for a long time, because we're seeing the majority of the volume on the CSE and not on AQSE today, because our UK shareholder base has been fairly consistent. So we believe once that volume flushes through, our stock will start to move back up in reality to where it probably needs to be and probably should be today. But for every seller, we're finding lots of buyers. So that's the good news. Lots of trading volume coming up. And to answer the second part of your question, yeah, we're always going to introduce news. We have more news coming as we get more and more of those new customers, whether they be each brand, more online successes. We'll continue to produce news like we did for the health store.
Plenty of news flow to come then.
Yes, indeed.
Henry Lees-Buckley, that was fascinating. Thank you so much for giving us an insight into your CBD business. That is Sativa Wellness Group. Thank you very much for joining us today. For more interviews like this one, please do subscribe to the London Southeast YouTube channel. And thank you for watching, and stay safe.